everybody. Here we are back again on a Wednesday. Probably it's a Wednesday, I guess.
Yeah, it's Wednesday.
Hopefully the lawn crew is done.
Yeah, they're out there running around.
Because holy shit, that was so loud.
We had two of them come by. I had ours and then theirs.
See, I thought it was 2 different days. I thought ours was Friday and theirs was Wednesday.
Well, we got a new crew.
Oh, okay. So it's a different day. So now
the old ones got replaced.
Oh, all right. I see what you're doing. Yeah, okay.
They're better than the old ones.
Yeah, well,
they're
they're all noisy.
We got that crew through our landlord. They got connections and all that. Our landlord owns 50 houses. It's that same fucking lawn crew. Anyway.
Yeah.
Go ahead and get to it, Jenny.
All right. So this is a movie from 2017 that we are discussing today. I had kind of heard about it through the grapevine, but I didn't really see it come up on anything. I think that the only streaming service it's on is Hulu, which seems a little strange. I was watching another review of it, and the 2 guys on there were like, yeah, we heard about this movie, but we didn't really see it because it's on Hulu. And he's like, I never really think of Hulu when I think of wanting to watch newer movies, because I think of it more as a TV series type of streaming service, which I guess it kind of is, but they do have a lot of movies. So this is called Tragedy Girls. Now, this is a horror comedy. It was directed by Tyler McIntyre, who was the same guy that did Patchwork, which, did we review that? Because we watched it. I remember watching it because I think it was on Shudder, and I really, really liked that movie. I had
a hard time remembering that one.
Yeah, it was really, really good.
Which one was that?
It was kind of like a Frankenstein story, but it was a girl and she was sewing.
Oh yeah. I remember that.
I liked that movie a lot. Yeah. So this one is kind of like. This movie is kind of like there's these 2 girls. They're in high school, and one of them is named Michaela and one of them is named Sadie. I love that their last names, Michaela's last name is Hooper, like Toby Hooper, and Sadie's last name is Cunningham, like Sean Cunningham. There's all kind of little horror Easter eggs in this. You can tell that the dude that made it is super into horror movies. They make reference to Dario Argento. They make reference to Martyrs. There's a murder in it that looks very much like the very famous Pole murder from Cannibal Holocaust. There's all of that kind of shit going on in there. So that's kind of a fun little thing. So these 2 girls are basically aspiring serial killers. They have a blog called The Tragedy Girls, and they're trying to get attention for their blog. So their first plan that they decide to do is there's this killer running around. It's this town called Rosedale, and there's this killer running around called the Rosedale Ripper, but they feel like some of the murders kind of look like accidents or the cops aren't doing enough to solve them or whatever. So they're going to kidnap this guy and get some pointers. So they do that, and then he doesn't really want to cooperate and all this other shit. So they come up with all these other kind of schemes. The funny thing about this movie is that there's a lot of the gore gags in it are really, really good. I really, really like the one, this one annoying chick that they kill and they cut her all up into pieces and she gets sawed in half and all this. It's really, really funny. And one guy gets killed in a gym and they drop the fucking bar on him and it takes the top of his head off or something like that. It's really, really, so there's really good gore in it. But the most hilarious thing is that this is essentially, it reminded me a lot of real dark high school comedies like Heathers or Jawbreaker or Mean Girls or something like that, except with an over the top slasher movie element to it. Yeah. Because these 2 girls are just sociopaths. They don't care about anybody. They don't care about, all they care about is getting famous and you know what I mean? And they're just not grossed out by killing, but they'll just kill anybody that gets in their way. They do not give a single shit. And they're just super, super shallow about it. But by the same token, their characters are also kind of charming and kind of likable too.
Well,
so
it's just a comedy.
Yeah. And it's a very, very, very dark comedy. Yeah. Some of the shit that happens in it.
I didn't really like it. I didn't really like it. It wasn't my thing. Maybe some people might like it. I think a lot of it has to do with the mindset that you're in, when you're watching a movie. Yeah. But for me, it just wasn't really to my taste. And I like horror comedies. Yeah. It's just, I don't know, it really couldn't hold my attention. To me, it just seemed kind of more of the same. It seemed real samey to me.
Well, it was similar in tone, like to some more recent stuff that we've reviewed, like We Summon the Darkness, or Satanic Panic, or some. It's kind of like has a tone like that. Yeah. I think the sense of humor in this one was much darker, and also I kind of liked the juxtaposition between this really dark sense of humor and also this almost kind of like touching and heartfelt story about friendship, about like the two of theirs friendship, and like how, you know, friends before anything else. But it's like the way that it plays out in the movie is like super fucked up.
There's something about it. It just didn't pull me into it. I really wasn't interested in it. I didn't buy it. That's why I didn't, you know what I mean? It just seemed kind of like bleh, you know. I didn't really buy the premise of it. I wasn't really pulled into the characters. And you know, there's really nothing wrong with the movie in terms of, you know what I mean, like the quality was high, the acting was pretty good, the edit was pretty good, but there's just something about the movie. I didn't feel it.
I will say, I mean, I liked this movie. I probably liked Patchwork better, this guy's other movie, which I think came out a year or two after.
That's the one about the pretty girl that was sewed all the girls together, right?
Yeah, well, all these girls got sewn together, and they were trying to they had to work together to a killer sewed them all together.
That's right,
and then they had to kind of
that's not the same one I was thinking of.
No, the one you're thinking of is May. That came out a long time
ago. May was the best one out of the ones we just mentioned right now.
I want to review that one of these days.
Yeah,
I think it's pretty good. I think it's come up in the polls a couple times, but it hasn't been picked thus far.
Creepy. That's a creepy one.
Yeah, it was like a little weird girl that is trying to make. She's trying to make the perfect friend.
I could buy that story. You know,
this one, it's almost kind of like, well, like I said, it has a very like high school black comedy kind of feel to it, in the sense that these are very shallow characters, and all they care about is their status as serial killers, and so everything is geared toward, you know, trying to get followers on Twitter, trying to do this, that, and the other thing, and it's like they will just like kill anybody that gets in their way. And it's like the funny part too is that they kill a couple of people, and then it doesn't really get attributed to them. Like it's either like, oh, the dude just ran away, or it was an accident or something like that, and they get pissed off, so then they have to like kill the person, you know, the next person, but they have to make sure that it's a murder, so they'd like have to do it like the most crazy over the top fucking way that you could possibly imagine. But yeah, it's gonna depend on how you feel about movies that are about teenage girls, that are about social media, and that kind of, I don't know, like I said, I like black comedies, so I thought this was like pretty funny. I don't think it was as funny as We Summon the Darkness or, you know, Heathers even. I don't think it was as funny as that, but some of the scenes in it, like some of the gore scenes and shit like that, and some of the little homages that they gave to like other movies were really, really clever, I thought, and were really well done. I also liked too that the two girls were kind of like from opposite sides of the tracks, because one was like lived in a trailer park, and like the other one was kind of like upper middle class, but they both had really nice families. You know what I mean? It wasn't like, you know, they came from like trashy families and, oh, that's why they were a serial killer. They just were evil. You know what I mean? Like all their parents were nice and loving and supportive and everything like that, but they were just still terrible, horrible people. And yet you still kind of, I don't know if you were rooting for them necessarily, because you're like, yeah, kill everybody. But some of the people they killed, you were like, yeah, kill that person. But, you know, some of the people like didn't deserve it. But that's kind of,
for me, it just didn't gel. It didn't. You know what I mean? That thing, it didn't come together into something that pulled me into the story. I don't know. I just thought it was just kind of blah.
Yeah. You know, so I don't know if, I mean, it seems like it's gotten really good reviews. It's a fun, I thought it was a really fun movie, and it's like, you know, fun. Like I said, it's not quite as funny as a couple of other ones that I've seen recently, but it's still like pretty funny, and like a lot of the gore scenes are like really funny.
I guess your mileage may vary. You know?
Well, that's just like, I mean, like every movie. I don't think there's any movie in existence that is universally loved by everybody. You're always going to get one grumpy motherfucker that is like, you know, what is the most beloved movie that you can think of? I don't even know if I can think of one.
Star Wars.
Yeah, well, that one's too obvious. Well, the first one.
Yeah, the first one. Yeah.
Now, okay, how about Jaws? Can you think there has to be somebody out there, as awesome as Jaws is, There has to be one wrong person out there that hates Jaws. Although I don't know if I would want to meet that person.
I don't hate Jaws, but I was never really, I didn't really think Jaws was a big thing in the time that Jaws came out. I mean, I can enjoy it now, but in those days, only thing I remembered about it as a kid was just the the soundtrack, and that chick that chick in the very beginning fucking swimming naked. I fucking loved that part.
Well, of course you did.
I was about 7. Yeah, I was like, yeah.
I like this movie.
Yeah, I like that part.
No shark, don't eat her.
Yeah.
Yeah, spoiler.
But
the shark just ate everybody.
Yeah. That one didn't really stick out to me.
Maybe you should watch it again.
We've seen it recently.
I'm just talking about, I'm trying to think of like a movie that is so beloved that if you said that you didn't like it, everybody would just accuse you of just trying to be a contrarian for the sake of it.
What I would say is the one from that era that made a lot more impact on me was Close Encounters of the Third Kind. I fucking love that movie.
Yeah. And I really like Close Encounters too, but it's not one of my favorites from that era. Okay. I really like that movie, but it's not one of my favorites of the era. Well, you have to think too that I'm more a horror person than a sci-fi person. You know what I mean? So any movie that's more horror oriented is going to be like more my thing than a sci-fi thing. Yeah. Other than like Alien and stuff like that. But Alien, well, like I said, Alien, I don't really even consider that sci-fi because it's basically just a monster movie.
Tina's telling me to rewatch Jaws. I saw Jaws. I saw Jaws a couple years ago. We watched it together, remember?
Yeah.
That was maybe 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I like it. It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not saying it's...
Sophie says Raiders of the Lost Ark, maybe.
Yeah.
That's a good call.
Yeah, that very first Airbender.
I don't think I've ever heard of a single person that doesn't like Raiders of the Lost Ark. Everybody maybe the first Back to the Future. Yeah. Like I said, I'm sure they're out there.
I like all the Backs to the Future.
I'm sure they're out there, but you know. As I just feel like those movies are so awesome and so beloved that anybody that said that they genuinely didn't like that movie, I would just accuse them of trolling.
I want to know if Tila got around to watching The Hand. She says she was going to watch The Hand.
Yeah, she says she's going to watch it.
If you like Conan, then you got to see the opposite of Conan, which is fucking The Hand.
Yeah. Which is really weird because you don't think those two movies have anything to do with one another, but they actually kind of do.
Yeah, Oliver Stone was involved in both of them. And Conan is in the second one.
Did we mention that Oliver Stone also played a bum in The Hand? He had a cameo as a bum. Yep. He played a really good drunken bum. Yep. He was only in one scene. But you know what I mean? I was just kind of like, hey, there's Oliver Stone right there. And he was like, sounded like me at the end of the last Saturday show. All right. So,
she said
what?
Promise to watch The Hand after work today. Okay.
Yeah, I promised. Okay.
Yeah, you got to see The Hand. And was there another one that I was talking about?
I don't know.
Might want to see Heavy Metal.
Sandra says, I know somebody who doesn't like Back to the Future. I don't trust that guy. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I'd want to hang out with anybody that didn't like Back to the Future.
We're doing a retrospective on Heavy Metal, aren't we?
You know what? It keeps coming up in the poll, but something else always gets outvoted. It always gets outvoted. We watched it the other night, and Fire and Ice is on Tubi as well, because that's kind of the companion piece.
Yeah. For Heavy Metal, I think I saw bits of it when I was a kid, but I don't think I ever saw the whole thing. And now I realize why I haven't seen the whole. Maybe I saw an edited version because that thing had a lot of fucking nudity in it, and a lot of animated sex and stuff. But Heavy Metal was fucking great. I used to love that fucking magazine when it came. It was an illustrated like sci-fi adventure magazine. Yeah. You can still get it, you can get downloads of it online, or see digital copies of it online. But that Heavy Metal, I was impressed on that one. It was a lot like the magazine.
Yeah, Tila said, "Is it animated?" Yeah, it's animated
with a really good fucking rock and new wave soundtrack from what was that, 1980 or 81?
1980, I think that came out. Yeah, 80 or 81. I can't remember.
It's about this damn green ball, which is it's an alien being that transcends all time and dimensions, and it's the personification of everything that is evil.
What is that thing called? The Lochnar?
The Lochnar. Yeah, and the Lochnar goes through all these stories, and each story some terrible shit happens about the Lochnar. And it's across time and across different dimensions, and it happens in different worlds, and a lot of the stories, at least one of them takes place in a series that showed up in Heavy Metal. It was the one about the boy that went into another dimension and he was a wimp over here, but over there he was a fucking a badass, fucking all muscular with no fucking hair, and he was fucking nailing all these real hot barbarian chicks. He's in this barbarian dimension, and he's over there fucking with the Lochnar.
Kind of reminds me of the Gore novel.
One of our fans sent me the illustrated magazine of it.
Yeah.
I haven't read it though, but it was called.
Yeah, what the hell was that kid's name? Shit.
Shit, where is that? Isn't that in here?
I don't know. It might be back there, like on the pile with the other.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Yeah, there's all the weird tales.
Yeah.
I think I took that into the back room to read it and never got around to it.
Yeah, you might have. So
Somebody might remember who.
So it might be like on the shelf somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to rewatch like Fire and Ice and stuff too, because like I said, that's for free on Tubi. Like I said, they're both in the in my queue. Like every now and then Heavy Metal comes up on the Patreon polls, but it always gets outvoted by something else.
You want to see Heavy Metal, you want to see The Hand, and you want to see Fire and Ice. Fire and Ice is like animated Conan. It's kind of like that.
And also
it's on. That's free on Tubi.
Tubi.
Right
Fire
now.
and Ice is.
Fire and Ice, yeah.
I would also like to recommend, this one is a little bit harder to find, but if you like animation that's kind of like an adult story, I would also recommend Rock and Rule, which is Canadian, and it's one of my favorite animated films.
One of the cool things about that Heavy Metal Blu-ray that I have is that there's a deleted scene in there that was going to be in the movie. And it's just hand illustrated, and it looks fucking badass. Looks like something out of Pink Floyd The Wall, and it's about the Lochnar, that damn green ball, and it shows it in Earth's past with fucking cellular organisms eating each other because of the Lochnar, and then multicellular organisms, and then dinosaurs eating each other, and the Lochnar's there fucking absorbing the evil energy, and then cavemen killing the fucking mammoths, and then it goes up into Roman barbarians and Romans fucking killing each other. The French Revolution, people cutting their heads off, and the Lochnar's there. Jack the Ripper murdering women, and the Lochnar's there. And it's just this swirling hand animation of it happening with this really spooky fucking classical music of this thing going through Earth's history, fucking shit up. And it even goes to, didn't it go through, how did it end? Didn't it go to space and in the future?
I can't remember.
I think, or did it just stop in the present day? Or I think it stopped in kind of like a Blade Runner type universe. I have to look at it again, but it was really eerie. And that was what I remembered about that Heavy Metal magazine, is just how eerie it was. It was just kind of, a lot of those stories were just kind of creepy. Yeah. They were sci-fi adventure, kind of Blade Runner-ish in a way. Well, they jumped all over, like this movie we're talking about.
Well, Heavy Metal, I mean, the first story was very Blade Runner-esque. I thought.
Yeah, I think that comic book was called Ren,
or something like, I can't remember. Yeah, Sandra's saying about Ratched. I have been actually wanting to watch that. I was gonna watch it one night because it's on Netflix, in case you guys didn't know. And then I saw like a couple people on Facebook, like a couple friends of mine, like talking about it, and they were like, "Man, we were so excited for this, and it's so bad." And I was like, "Oh man, maybe I'll watch it later," like, because I was kind of bummed out. So I just like never got around to, because now I got Hulu, and then I kind of got involved in Castle Rock, so I have to finish that off first, and then maybe I'll do Ratched, because I do actually want to watch that, because, you know, I don't know.
I think it was called Dem. D-E-M?
Yeah, it was like a short name. I can't remember. I can't remember.
Yeah, it was about this wimpy kid who could go, and he went into another dimension where he was a badass and a hero and shit. He was totally opposite of what he was.
Like I said, that
he was like a babe magnet.
That kind of reminds me of the Gore novels, which they made. I've only seen the movie that they did on Mystery Science Theater, which I think is called Outlaw of Gore, about like the kind of dorky teacher guy that gets sucked into another dimension. And over there, he's like a barbarian, like a big hero and shit like that. And he has like a hot queen wife or whatever. Yeah. And it's like a ring like that sucks him into another dimension.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was called Dem.
Yeah, something like that.
You're right. I have to go back and look at it again. I think now that I've seen the movie, I want to go back and read the illustrated novel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you need to find it.
I think that was only part one.
It's either with my weird tales back there, or you took it.
I think I took it back there to read it and never got around to it.
Oh, okay.
I got to go look for it again.
All right. Yeah. All right. So I guess that'll do it for today's show, right? And it's Wednesday, so I guess we'll be back for another live stream on Saturday, doing kind of a cool, creepy, historical topic coming up on Saturday. But until then, tomorrow, witching hour, Friday, we got a movie retrospective coming up, so you guys can watch that kind of stuff. And we'll talk to you guys again live on Saturday. And thanks for dropping by. So, bye.